In 2019, we embarked on a journey to uncover what aging looks like for Californians and how we might ensure that all Californians can age in place with dignity. We spent several months learning from older adults, people with disabilities, and those who support them. This past summer, we followed up with several of those individuals to see how their lives have changed since then. There were reasons to celebrate, including many for Karen Anderson and Gwen Bouzet, who are deeply involved with Lavender Seniors, supporting LGBTQ older adults.
We had our 25th anniversary for Lavender Seniors, at our 29th anniversary for Karen and I, sharing our lives together.
Amongst life celebrations, some also experienced unforeseen disasters in their communities, including a spree of intense earthquakes centered in Ridgecrest, home of John and Norba Abbott. Some older adults were in unstable housing conditions, but have since been able to move into more secure housing, including Carmen Guerreta, a resident of Fremont. Jerome McIntosh, an older adult in Oakland, has a similar fortune. After spending years at St. Mary's Center in transitional housing and sending in hundreds of housing applications, one was accepted.
I have my own studio apartment now, and that's a really big deal. So I have my own finally, and now I have a place for my grandson. I have a grandson; he's 3 years old. Now he can come over and run around and mess up my house. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Some older adults have made even larger moves, changing cities and downsizing homes to be closer to loved ones as they continue to age, including Kathleen Louis, who relocated from Orange County to San Diego.
I have friends. They're fabulous people. But at the end of the day, everybody goes home to their own lifestyle, their own families, their own lives. And it was at that time that I started to think, okay, maybe this is the time, because I don't have relatives near me. I think we need to be closer together. They can help me, I can help them. I'm happy to be closer to family, and I think for me, it makes me feel a little bit more secure and happy. There's something to do with family somewhere every day.
We also checked in with April Wick, who is on the front line providing services to older adults and people with disabilities.
I live here in Sacramento with my husband Paul and our dog Sammy, and I am the executive director of Resources for Independent Living, which is a intersectional social justice organization for people with disabilities and older adults here in Sacramento, and we serve Sacramento and Yolo counties.
These individuals' realities, like everyone's, changed dramatically with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, a virus that inordinately affects older adults and people with pre-existing conditions.
Certainly, it was worrisome. We didn't know that much. I started making masks as well, handing them out to my friends.
Stay-at-home stuff, that's very unusual for either one of us. And otherwise than that, it's restricted our movements, it's needless to say. And it's very unusual to not be out in the community and not be social.
Many identity factors, such as race, gender, sexual orientation, economic status, and ability, deeply affect someone's experience of aging, and they also have a dramatic impact on how the pandemic is felt firsthand.
So people with disabilities, particularly people with disabilities that are lower income and who are members of minority groups, are disproportionately impacted by COVID for a lot of different reasons. And we definitely saw that play out. Like our clients were already on, the cusp of losing housing or losing their income or stability. But COVID highlighted those disparities and also made them worse.
Our people had the underlying concern that perhaps the neglect that they're experiencing may be LGBT related. So in addition to the conditions that everyone is concerned with, there's a thing that I'm being neglected in addition to being isolated.
The pandemic also exposed the fragility in our systems and communities which many of the people we spoke with have felt firsthand over the course of their lives and are even more aware of right now. Some are able to live in places that make getting through these tough times a bit easier, while those who were struggling with housing before are even more vulnerable during the pandemic.
This is a walking neighborhood. All the seniors here are walkers, morning and late at night. So they're all walking, they're all wearing masks, they're all talking to me, they're welcoming me to the neighborhood, very friendly, very, very nice.
I know a couple of people that are still living on the street. The only thing they tell me is the only thing they could do was adjust to what the situation was, and deal with it with what they had.
Social isolation is also a challenge that many older adults and people with disabilities face, and stay-at-home and social distancing orders, while necessary, have severed the connections people have to critical social and emotional supports.
And then there are some of our people that have had so much anxiety around this isolation that they're feeling suicidal. I haven't got out of this room in 3 months now, and I need help, but my volunteer can't come and help me. No one wants to touch me or see me, So some of them, the ones that can get to us through Zoom, it's generally on like an iPad or something that they have let us know that they are in a lot of crises and a lot of anxiety around this experience.
For the past few years, John has been a part of a local group for veterans with PTSD. They met regularly to provide each other mutual support, but that has been disrupted.
Yep, I miss it, and the guys miss it too. In fact, I just had a couple of people I talked with early this week said, let's get together at my house. Really, really miss it, really need it.
We also heard about the ways in which people are getting their basic needs met. Most have had to find workarounds, whether it be coordinating food and medication pickup and delivery or accessing healthcare services.
Our medicine comes in the mail 3 months worth at a time. Our food, look online, and it comes in, and I tell them, they leave it on the porch. And then I go out with my gloves and my wipes, take everything out the bag, wipe it off, put it in the house.
My disability requires me to have a lot of durable medical equipment delivered once a month. And so for a while I was kind of freaked out about being able to access all the things that I would need to live independently. And so I had to get creative about when I had to do my ordering. And for a while I was out of some things I needed. And I didn't have them, and so I had to use something else, and it was really scary.
Carmen lives alone and recently lost her vision, making it even more difficult to manage her needs.
Doctor prescribed some medicine, and they said that my insurance was not approving that. So I tried to call them to find out what was going on, but they told me that they had everything sent it to me to the computer to read it. I said, I cannot see. I said, okay, I'm sorry, but somebody has to help me. Boom, they hung up.
In these times, technology can be a powerful tool for maintaining connections and getting needs met. However, as we just heard, not everyone can access it or feels comfortable with it.
The pandemic has made it double necessary. It's the only way to communicate. With seniors, it becomes a real problem. They're not comfortable with media, may not have a computer, and if they do have a computer, it's very cumbersome for them to figure out how to do a Zoom, and very frustrating.
Just the other day, got a few calls from people who were like, well, how am I supposed to come to a Zoom class if I don't have Wi-Fi? So the systemic issue is, like, let's say for telehealth, they don't have access to a computer where they could show the doctor what's going on with them. Or maybe they need an advocate to sit with them. And I know sometimes some of the telehealth places will say, only you can be here, and these are the rules of how you need to show up to this day. And that doesn't always, work for people with disabilities.
In the midst of this chaos and uncertainty, older adults and people with disabilities have had to rely on their resiliency and strength in the face of numerous challenges.
We go in our backyard. I have a stationary bike out there and I ride that and I walk around in my backyard. But I'm used to going out. I'm used to going and visiting people. I'm used to communicating with people. I mean, getting a hug. All of that is really important to our well-being, and it has been taken away from us.
I read. I've joined Kindle Unlimited, and I think I've read about 60 books.
Well, the good thing is, all the emeritus classes, they're online. There's all Zoom. They're on Canvas. So it's really nice because you can do it at home. They do have a balance class, a balance and mobility class, and then chair exercises, an investment class. I hope everybody has a chance to do stuff like that because that's really helpful.
Despite their own struggles, many are also finding ways to support others during this tough time.
I mean, I've helped others. I've personally helped them by giving them a little food here and there, or something they might need, or sometime I will go to the store. A couple of people that I know that can't get out, I'll get them something.
What we've been doing is phone banking. We've been calling and trying to get to as many people every day as we can. We have over 1,000 people on our list, and we try to get to as many people every day.
Yeah, we all stay in touch by way of text, occasional phone call, but we like to text just to know that still brothers.
In addition to providing direct support, they're also advocating for themselves and others.
So I called and I said, I went into Target. Nobody was wearing masks. I didn't feel safe. I think it would be very wise for your public health department to make a statement saying you need masks or you need hand sanitation. So that was all that I could do. But I felt at least I was trying to do something, to make people aware.
It was very scary. There were no way to go shopping. And I came back home. And I started calling the supermarkets. Can you listen? Please put hours for seniors. They're going to kill us. Help us. And one laughed, but the other ones, they just hung up on me. And the next day, I saw the first thing when I turned on the TV, I saw that they were senior hours. I felt so happy.
Through the turbulence, many older adults and people with disabilities are continuing to maintain a positive outlook and drawing on their own inner strength and loved ones to help them through.
Well, the things are going to be better. I have learned so much from this that I'm going to be a lot stronger. I want to have more security in myself. I want to be stronger. I hope whatever happened this time, it's going to be like a lesson for everybody.
I think we have to be hopeful. We have a great number of seniors with a range of backgrounds, a range of needs. And if people can know about them and be aware of them, then we can help them.
While this positive outlook is a necessity in the current moment, for some, it's simply not sustainable or enough. Furthermore, the pandemic has highlighted the interconnectedness of people and problems and underscores the need for systemic change.
And I was so excited about the governor's master plan that would address, well, at least shed a light on all of this. And then the pandemic hit.
I'm hoping that this is really an invitation to look at, what are the disparities in health and food access and, displacement with affordable, accessible housing. We're seeing that really highlighted now because of COVID. And we have an invitation to double down and really push for the kind of world that we want to live in. I think we're realizing how interdependent on each other we are. We actually could have the momentum to make the changes that are needed.
We have the chance right now to make sure that all Californians emerge from this crisis stronger than ever. Older adults and people with disabilities across the state need a master plan for aging that takes a systemic and equitable approach to honor their realities and uplift their quality of life. Together, let's continue to advocate for a plan that ensures all Californians can lead full and dignified lives.